Hey everybody, welcome to our YouTube channel, Christian and Ziya. My name's Christian, and as you can see, I am all alone today. And that's why this image you're seeing right now is way less beautiful because Ziya is not around. So today, I have a very juicy video. I'm gonna be talking about my culture shock when I first went to South Africa. And I'm gonna be sharing what I knew about South Africa beforehand, what shocked me, what I learned, what I grew to love, what is different, was weird to me, and all that juicy stuff. So I hope you enjoy and stay tuned in.
Can keep my hands on myself. Think I'll dust them off, put them back up on the shelf. Kiss my little baby girl isn't me. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still.
Now, I've been very blessed. I've been able to go to South Africa on 3 separate occasions. The first time, it was for my church. The second time, I was a tourist on vacation. And the third time was when I went to propose to Ziya and get married to her. So today's video, I'm going to be focusing on just one of those. When I was a missionary for our church, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And that was the very first time I went to South Africa. Let me give a little bit of background information before I get into the juicy stuff. So in our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, when we turn the age of 18, we have the opportunity to serve a 2-year mission. And for that 2-year mission, you can be assigned anywhere in the world after you fill out paperwork. And you do it to teach people about Jesus Christ. It's a great opportunity to grow and to help others and to serve others. You give up your entire life for those 2 years, you stop doing school. And so I put in my paperwork and I was assigned to serve in Cape Town, South Africa. So keep in mind, guys, I didn't actually meet Ziya or talk to her until 2018. So these full 2 years, I did not even know Ziya existed. I didn't meet her, I didn't know her, I didn't know about her. So keep that in mind. I absolutely loved the 2 years serving the people of South Africa and teaching them about Jesus Christ. But in today's video, I'm not going to be focusing on that. We're going to save that for another video. I'm going to be more talking about my initial culture shock, what I learned, what was weird for me, what was different, about how much I grew to love the people and the language, and all of that fun stuff. So before I left, I didn't really know much about South Africa. I knew that there was a World Cup in 2010. I watched every single game. I love soccer. I watched Chabalala score that left-footed upper 90 goal against Mexico in the opening game. We won't talk about what happened with the rest of the games, but that was awesome. I knew about Nelson Mandela and apartheid, and that was pretty much it. I guess I knew that it was like a developed country. I knew that there was white people there. I didn't know what languages they spoke. I didn't know anything, so I kind of went in blind. Finally, January 2014, the time came. I left my family. Now keep in mind, I had never left the country before, so this was quite the experience. It took 2 whole days to fly to South Africa. I flew from Utah to Seattle to London Heathrow and then to Johannesburg. So it was a long, tiring process. So when I first got to Johannesburg Airport and we were picked up, I was tired, I was exhausted. I didn't have much time to really grasp. What my real first initial shock was when I left to the mission field. The very first area that I went to was Queenstown, South Africa, which is in Eastern Cape. I love Eastern Cape, but I'll get into that later. And the area specifically that I was called to teach in was Sada, South Africa. Now Sada is a very rural area. It's like 45 minutes, it's in the middle of nowhere. That was like the African experience. I was just thrown into it. Now Sada, the first thing that stood out to me was that there's people outside everywhere. Everyone's walking, people are outside their homes, people are loud, everyone's socializing. That was a huge shock for me. So people were everywhere and they didn't speak English. Not that they didn't know how to, but they spoke isiXhosa. I had no idea that language even existed. I had I had joked about like learning a click language, but little did I know I was actually going to learn it. Honestly, Xhosa was the biggest shock for me. People spoke so fast, they're clicking, they're like, I didn't know how to make some of those noises. And one of the very first words I learned was Mulungu, which means white man. So I would drive by or walk by and people would say, Nanga Mulungu, which means there's a white man. I stood out like a sore thumb. Everyone's black, I'm the only white person. The crazy thing is, I didn't feel like I stuck out. Everyone is so inviting, welcoming, loving. People want to know about you, they're interested in you. I have never felt like I belonged in a place more in my life. It's crazy, I know it's crazy. I lived in America my whole life, but now I'm all the way across the world and I felt like I've met my people. I love the people instantly. People are my type. They are loud, they are themselves right away. There's no like barrier, people don't pretend as much. They're true to themselves. They're energetic. I learned what vibe really is. Now I've heard of vibe, but people, they've got the vibe in South Africa. They're energetic, they're loud, they're entertaining, they're fun. They ask you questions, they get to know you, they make you feel welcome when they're home. They feed you, which is the way to my heart. I think it had only been like 2 weeks that I had been in Sada in South Africa, and I already felt like it was home. Now guys, South Africans, they love soccer. There are little kids playing in the streets everywhere after school. There's high schoolers, there's adults, everyone's playing soccer. They make their own little like plastic bag balls. They use anything. They set up rocks for goals. So everywhere I would go, I would stop, I would play soccer with them for a bit. We're laughing, we're having fun. And that made me feel at home like crazy. The other thing is Xhosa mamas and makulus, which means grandmas. They are the kindest, most loving people I have ever met. You go into their home and they make sure that you are comfortable and that you are well off. They'll offer you water, they'll offer you food, they'll make sure you're doing okay, and they'll just make you feel so warm and welcome. I love all the Xhosa mamas that I met. I was mostly around Xhosa people. Those are the people that I grew to learn and love the most. Now, even though I felt so welcome and I could play soccer with them and smile with them and laugh with them and be crazy, I wanted to learn how to speak to them. So that was really important to me. The very first thing I learned was how to greet someone. You say molo or moleni to say hi, and you say unjani, which is how are you, and then you can say dipilile nkosi, which means I'm fine, thanks. That helps me get to know the language so quickly, because then you speak it to them and people are so excited. They're like, wow, this person is all the way across the world, they're learning my language, and then they instantly open up to you and they get to know you. And then they would teach you more, and then just each day I would just ask people, I'd be like, what does this mean? Or what does that mean? How do you say this? How do you say that? And I learned so much so quickly. I was scared at first that I wouldn't be able to speak to anyone, but quickly I was learning how to speak. But I feel like even more so, I learned how to hear what they were saying. I just learned how to pick up words, and I could kind of feel from like their emotions or like kind of generally what they're talking about, and I could kind of pick up things. And I'd be like, oh, so-and-so is saying this, and people would look at me and be like, how do you know that? Something I was really stressed about before I left was the food. I didn't know anything about the food, and I was kind of a picky eater at the time, which I know is crazy for people to hear that now because I'll literally eat anything. But honestly, I feel like South Africa helped me open up. I freaking love South African food. One of the first things that I had was stiff pop, which is meal, and then you have it with a nice stew or sauce, and you can eat with your hand or with a fork. It's kind of like mashed potatoes, but like a little bit thicker. I love pop. My favorite, honestly, though, is steamed bread. It's a nice, big, fluffy bread. You can mix with anything. They have a thing called full meal, which I know sounds funny in America, but basically they give you your meat, your rice, or your potatoes. You have your vegetables and all of that great stuff. I tried so many different things. I had ngushu, which is like beans and samp. Honestly, I could do a whole video about food. There's great food, there's some weird food I tried. I think some of the weirdest stuff I had was elusu, which is like cow intestines. It's not very good, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's the person who cooked it, but I didn't really enjoy it. Then you have mpokoko ramas, which is like sour milk with samp, which is like a corn-based starch. I don't like sour milk. Ugh. I'm used to like cold milk with cereal. I don't like the warm. Ugh, it's not nice. People like it though. They have it quite a bit. Another thing that was weird, but I actually liked was Smiley. I believe we had it was sheep face. That's what Smiley is. It's just like an animal face, and they like leave like everything in it. You the eyeball and the teeth and everything. I actually ate the eyeball. Guys, it's not that bad. Another one that was weird. It was chicken feet. Now that seems weird, but it's actually pretty good. It just tastes like chicken, but there's just not very much meat on it. So yeah, those are some of the weird foods that I had. South Africans though, they love their meat. They love meat. They have a thing called nyama, where you go and you just pick out what meat you want, and they cut it up for you nice. They cook it up nice and they give it to you. So you have like pork, chicken, beef. You got everything. Oh man, I miss it. I'm hungry now that I'm talking about it. Yeah, guys, I'm struggling to make this video. I have so much I want to say, so much I want to talk about. I'm so excited. I cannot finish this video without talking about driving in South Africa. Now, since we usually taught in the townships, but we lived in town, we would drive a lot and we would drive around throughout the township as well. So I drove so much in South Africa. At first it was weird because the steering wheel is on the opposite side. It's on the right side instead of the left, and then you drive on the left side of the road. That was weird to get used to. Like, I would look over the wrong shoulder a lot, but quickly I was able to adjust to the car. But there's a whole nother thing I had to adjust to, which is South Africans driving. They are insane. Especially you have all these taxi drivers. The taxi drivers are the most chaotic drivers, yet somehow they are in control. I still don't understand how it works. They will drive fast, they'll overtake you and then they'll slam on the brakes and stop and drop someone off or pick someone up. They're constantly yelling out the window, asking people if they want to go somewhere. I had to learn how to drive around those taxi drivers. It was stressful, but then quickly I learned that they're very under control. Like, it looks like everything is crazy or out of control, but they know what they're doing. They would drive through red lights. They would drive through a huge group of people. I don't know, that they are some talented people. The other hard part about driving was, like, there's people in the roads all the time. Like, they walk along the edge, they're crossing in front of it. There's kids playing soccer. There's animals in the road. They have like those goals set up. It's like a maze everywhere you go, just constantly like waiting for people to get out of the way. They don't really care. They know the car will stop for them, and so they'll take their sweet time. I don't know. Honestly, it was fun driving to South Africa after I got used to it. Okay, for this next little part, I'm gonna do some roasting of South Africans. I hope that no one's offended. This is all in good fun. The first thing, I'm sorry, white South Africans, I'm gonna have to roast you first. Why do you guys go to the store with no shoes on? Why do you walk barefoot? Another one is South Africans are terrible at giving directions. I think some of my favorite memories is when you pull over to the side of the road and you ask someone for directions. Even if they don't know of the place or how to get there, they're gonna pretend like they know where to go. And they're like, oh yeah, it's down that way. Yeah, just go straight that way. And then left and then right. And then they'll just make up stuff and then like, okay, yeah. And then you get there and you're like, I don't know where I am. And you ask someone else and they send you back to the same place. And like, there's so much pride. Just say you don't know where to go. And then I feel like people are always mixing up right and left. I don't know. Maybe that's just the people I was around, but directions are not your thing, guys. If you don't know how to get somewhere, just be honest. Just say, I don't know. But I honestly think South Africans can agree with me on some of these. The first thing I hate is dogs in South Africa. Those things are mean. They will chase you. They will chase your car. They'll bite at your heels. They'll call their friends and their friends will chase you. Those things are terrifying. I can't tell you how many times I got chased by dogs, or I was too scared to go into a house because this dog looked like it could eat me that's guarding it, like behind the fence. I don't know. I'm not a fan of dogs in South Africa, but I quickly learned how to scare them away. You reach down, pretend like you're grabbing a rock, or you can actually grab a rock, and they will run away. They're scared. People have trained them for that. Now you can't do that to dogs in America. They'll just be like, what? What are you doing? In Cape Town and a little bit in Grahamstown as well, that's where I learned of coloreds. Now in America, that's kind of an offensive term because coloreds is referring to black people and it's not what you say or address them. But coloreds are actually different. In South Africa, there's people called Afrikaners. Now Afrikaners are white people who originally came from Netherlands. They're Dutch. And their language is very similar, Afrikaans, to Dutch. Now they mixed with some of the local African people, like Xhosa people or Zulus or whatever, and they formed a group called coloreds. Coloreds are very loud, animated people. I love coloreds. They can tell you, like, they can take like the most boring story and turn it into like a movie. They can make it so interesting. There's a video of Trevor Noah where he explains that perfectly. But coloreds are very funny. I love them. They're exciting. I learned their slang. Awe mi bru, awe awe. I love them so much. The culture I'm most familiar with though is the Xhosa culture. And wow, do they have a beautiful, rich culture filled with traditions. Honestly, white people are boring in comparison. We have nothing. We're kind of lame, I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, my fellow white people. But there's so much to their culture. They love to sing, they love to dance. Like you go to any church and people are singing, they're dancing, they're clapping their hands. I'm a huge fan of nature and mountains and hiking and animals. So you can only imagine how excited I was to go to South Africa. South Africa has so many beautiful animals. They have unique ones, they have beautiful landscapes, they have oceans, they have beautiful beaches. And I think those are some of my favorite memories outside of the people and the culture. I got the opportunity to ride an elephant. That was super uncomfortable. You spread your legs so wide, but it's also probably one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. There was a place where I was able to go to pet a giraffe. Like you get out of your car, it's like a little safari, and he comes up to you like a dog, and you just go up and you can pet him and touch him. I was able to hike Table Mountain. Table Mountain is a mountain in Cape Town, and it's completely flat. Not like totally flat, but it's flat on top. And you can climb up to the top and like look out at the beautiful coast. I had the opportunity to go into a cage with a cheetah and reach down and pet it. I've been able to do that twice. I've been shark cage diving, which was quite the experience, just off Cape Town. I've been whale watching, where I saw a mom and baby whale. I've had the opportunity to ride an ostrich and to pet one and feed one and hold a baby one. I love the animals of South Africa. I love the monkeys. I love everything about them. One time when we went to go teach someone there, we went to their house and we were talking to the guy outside, and then we go inside and there's a monkey on their countertop opening their loaf of bread. He saw us, took some pieces out and ran away with the bread. That's only in Africa. That's not a thing that happens in America. I don't know. There's just so much beauty to it. I love South Africa. Definitely 12 out of 10 on the Christian rating scale. I hope everyone enjoyed today's video. I loved reviewing my impressions and culture shock of South Africa. The things that I love, the things that I don't like, the roasting section, all of that was so much fun. And I feel like I just have so much more to say. So if there's anything that you feel like I missed, please leave that in the comment section below. Or if there's something you want to hear more about, I would love to do that in a future video with Ziya. And let's be honest, guys, we miss Ziya. Ziya is just such a beautiful girl, and she's such a sweet spirit and presence to be around. So I'm looking forward to making more videos with her. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.